Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Cindy Thompson.
I'm Monica Height.
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
And this week, we're going back to a simpler time. And that time is the 90s, where, you know, most of us probably didn't have a fully real functioning thought in our brain. We certainly weren't thinking about the 7 deadly sins, because we are talking about David Fincher's Seven, or as it's styled, Se7en.
I appreciate that. It's like 13 goats.
Yeah,
I just said goats instead of ghosts.
I heard it. I heard it.
This movie, 13 Goats.
That famous movie with the goats.
Everybody knows
Matt
the
Millard's there. He
I
corrals
love that
them.
movie. It's a really good one. Okay, it's not to be confused with the sheep movie coming out with Hugh Jackman. Not that one.
Yeah, or the goat movie that I only knew about because Chelsea took her nephew.
Yeah, because I saw it in 4DX.
Oh my god, fucking ridiculous.
Okay, but if you, like Chelsea, had never seen this movie, the IMDb tagline, actually, I think this one's a pretty good one. It says, 2 detectives, a rookie and a vet, hunt a serial killer who uses the 7 deadly sins as his motives.
Good. We don't need to say more than that. That's perfect.
I love when things, like when it doesn't give things away. This movie does a great job at not giving things away.
Yeah, the twist in this movie is fucking cuckoo banana clubs. And I have seen this before, but I don't know when. It was like a really fucking long time ago. And so I was talking to Adam about it. I was like halfway through the movie and I was like, so this is what's gonna happen in the end, right? Like that's the sin that blah 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 becomes. And he's like, no, not even close.
No. Oops.
Not even close. So classic Monica's horrible
everything.
memory, did a weird rewrite, which we will discuss later. And I thought that it could be good. But honestly, I trust Andrew Kevin Walker over me writing this film. So do you feel okay, Chelsea? I remember being very disturbed after the first time I watched this movie. So are you all right?
Yeah, how are you doing, Queen?
Here's the thing. I probably should have made time to watch it twice. So that I could watch it again. I think it's, I always regret not making time to watch a movie twice, if I haven't seen it before. But she's a tricky bedfellow. Tricky mistress. As you can see, I didn't even get to repink my hair, but I'm making it work because I'm Gwyneth Paltrow right now.
You're doing so good at it.
And I literally had thoughts during the week. I was like, I need to watch Seven early, both so that I can watch it twice and so that I can know if being blonde is going to be a benefit for when we record. But I only watched it once, and I only watched it a short while ago. And I guess I came in with some very preconceived wrong notions.
Oh, what did you think? I can't wait to hear what you thought this movie was.
I don't know exactly what made me come to this conclusion, other than I think when we introduced it last episode, were you guys saying that Brad Pitt is like a jerk in it, maybe? Or something?
No, Brad Pitt was saying that he was playing a weird guy.
Oh,
like she loves it when he plays a weird
like a little
dude.
freak. Yeah, okay, that's what you guys were saying. I couldn't remember exactly what it was.
What he was like. So
what I remember was looking at the poster on IMDb and immediately coming to the conclusion for some reason that Morgan Freeman was the detective and Brad Pitt was the serial killer. And then they introduced him as the detective, and I was like, aha, they're trying to trick me.
Kelsey!
They're trying to trick me personally.
I'm too smart for them.
That's so fucking funny. That's so funny.
I don't know. When I looked at it again this morning, I was like, is this Is this the movie where at the end Brad Pitt speaks in the Jamaican accent on the streets everywhere or whatever? It's like on New York City. Have you ever seen this clip? It's from a completely
You're
different movie.
thinking of Adrian Brody on SNL.
It's a movie called, I looked it up because once I finished it and that was not the end of this movie, I was like, what is that movie then? And it's like Meet Joe Black and he plays
Oh,
death
yeah.
or something. And
I
so he's
love
like
that
speaking to a
movie.
Jamaican woman. And so that's why it's like he's speaking to her in her accent,
Bomba.
I guess.
I don't think that was something
I
you
thought
needed
there
to
was gonna be like a crazy, and then it was like a mind game thing. I didn't know where it was going exactly, but for some reason I looked this up on IMDb before I watched it, and I was like, oh, I think this is that movie.
Chelsea's like,
and then-
I don't know where this is going, but I
Well,
think we're going
once
to
they were
Jamaica.
out in the desert. I thought that they were
When I
going
was
to be on
out
the
in the
streets of New
desert,
York.
I knew he
They
was
were
going to
out in the
speak in a
desert,
Jamaican accent.
And there's only
Like,
10 minutes left. I was like, how is there going to be time for that? So I kind of was like, I think maybe I'm wrong. But I just
Chelsea,
had such
you
a
really got in
strong-
your own way this
I
week.
know. Oh my God. I
She
had
loves
such like
doing
a
that.
strong confidence that both of these things were this movie.
I'm so glad that Se7en came here today to humble you to your core.
Once I saw that Kevin Spacey was in this movie, I was like, well, now I'm starting to doubt what I thought was happening here. Because before that, when he was just like faceless man, I was like, they're working together. That's why he doesn't shoot him, blah, blah, blah. He's throwing it all off. I don't know. I was so confident, but I was very wrong about everything. And I think I have a good enough grasp to still discuss this movie, but I am kind of disappointed that Brad Pitt not the villain.
But
that's why I was like,
I
that's why
think-
he's bad saying the R word and saying the F slur because he's
baby,
only serial
that's 'cause
killers
it
do
was
that.
1995. It was
Guys,
'cause
but
it
here's
was
the thing.
Killers say bad words.
1995.
But here's the thing. Both those words apparently back in the lexicon in vogue. So this movie could be made today and it would still fit.
And he'd be the hero.
Oh my God.
But that's what makes, I think, this movie like the reveal so good, because there's another movie like in 1995, Kevin Spacey, this is like the second movie he played a villain in. And the other, Unusual Suspects, he played and he won an Oscar for it. And he was
Which
the bad
we've
guy in that.
talked about because that's the Scary Movie ending was where
Yeah.
that comes from.
And they were like, okay, we can't put him on the bill, which is why it's just billed as Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, because if you had Kevin Spacey on there
Then you're like,
and
where
he
does Kevin
doesn't
Spacey come
show
in?
up
Mhm.
until 90 minutes into the movie, you're like, that's the bad guy.
Well, and
Yeah.
also, like, I thought this was weird when I watched the movie the first time. That like in the beginning title credits, like I don't know, I didn't go and check this. It says everybody's name who's in the movie, right? Like classic
mhm.
opening
And
credits,
not
but
Kevin Spacey.
it doesn't say Kevin Spacey. But then at the very end, there's that weird thing where it says and Kevin Spacey as John
As
Doe
John
first,
Doe.
and then it lists everybody in order of
Like a
appearance,
spot
and it shows him again, like later on, like
Uh-huh.
5 seconds later. I was like, why did it say Kevin Spacey twice in like 1 second? And then I was like, oh, I see what they're doing. It was like the
His
reveal
credits
thing.
and
So they
his
were really
billing.
protecting that information.
Yeah, like it apparently was like really kept under wraps that he was even like attached or involved. And like there was no social media, no nothing. So this movie ended up making over like $300 million at the box office. And it
Damn.
was like a slow grower because like everybody was like, there's a great twist, all this kind of stuff, because he was also like just coming off Unusual Suspects. And
Mhm.
everybody
And he's
at the
back
time
again on his
Kevin
his evil
Spacey
bullshit.
was, you know, a darling, a movie darling. Now, literally, I was like trying to explain it to somebody, and I was like, what the fuck is this guy's name? I literally completely, I was like, I know he's a bad guy. I'm like, he's a bad guy in real life, and he's a bad guy in the movie. And I was like, could not think of his name at all, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate because he's so good in this. Like he is
Oh,
so
I loved him as an actor before all that shit came out. Obviously now
Yeah.
scum of the earth, trash under my boot, blah blah blah.
But
There's reason he's so good at playing a horrible person, because he is one. But like,
it's
oh
just
my
like what a fucking
god,
bummer.
he was in so many things that I love. Like I love Darren. Oh god, what's his name? Somewhere beyond the sea. Darren
Oh,
something.
Bobby Darin.
Bobby
Yeah.
Darin, thank you. He played Bobby Darin in Beyond the Sea, which is a great movie. And I was obsessed with House of Cards.
Everybody loved House of
obsessed with
Cards. What a
House of Cards.
cultural touchdown moment.
I never watched
Well,
it, which was my moral high ground when he got
you
canceled.
would. You would
Actually,
fucking do
guys,
that.
I never even watched that show, so sucks to be
Well,
you guys.
you missed
Yeah.
out because the
'Cause I
first
hear it's
lady
very
is the
good.
hottest bitch of all fucking time. Who is that actress? Oh my god.
Robin Wright.
Robin
Robin Wright.
aka
Oh.
Princess Buttercup.
The
Yes.
most beautiful woman in the world,
Woman of
as
the
we
world.
know.
She's
Yeah.
literally the most beautiful woman in the world. She is stunning and
She's
so good in that role
beautiful.
too.
And she was so good in that show too.
And
Yeah.
everybody loved Kate Mara as well
Yeah.
in that.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's really interesting as far as like what they had to do to cover that up. I feel like we still can do that today sometimes, but like you really just have to like because of IMDb, it makes it really hard. They just have to like
IMDb.
edit the IMDb.
Well, and also
Yeah.
too with social media, like after opening weekend, it's
You
hard
get 5
dodging,
seconds. You get
like-
5 seconds on Thursday night.
right?
Yeah, and also like with the paparazzi and like just people in general, they like take pictures of movie sets all the time. So I've seen
Mhm.
so many like photos of characters from movies like long before the movie is even, close to being finished. So it's really they got to really lock down the set, do it like if they're filming. They couldn't film this surprise in New York City. Chelsea, they couldn't film it on the streets of New York City because then everyone would have taken pictures of it. You know what I mean? Like it has to be in the remote desert. That's why.
Where only
but
a
it's-
helicopter can fly nearby and they can't even land. They'd have to
Well-
use their telephoto lenses.
But I also liked with that, like it was so because like the city doesn't get a name. It's always raining.
It's not New York.
Uh-uh. No, it's only referred to as like the city or
Yeah.
here. Like it's an unnamed
I was
city.
wondering-
Isn't the city
I was-
an
yeah.
implied New
Uh-uh.
York?
Like it's no. Like
No.
this specifically is like not supposed to be New York.
It's like a fictional.
yeah.
I
It's
felt
like an unknown. Because
That's the
why
real
would New York have a
twist.
desert? New York, not
I guess
Yeah,
anywhere
there's no
near a
fucking
desert.
desert anywhere.
Question, but they're like upstate, and I was like, right, upstate New York. That's where they just
There's
moved
not a
from.
desert.
No desert in
There's no
upstate New
desert.
York.
I
No,
know
yeah,
where the desert is. Obviously, they had to go wherever the desert.
Well, I really liked that
Maine.
part about it because I was trying to pay attention more the second time I watched this, but I was actually unconscious for a good part of the second time I watched this because I just kept falling
We're
back
really
asleep.
thorough here at Spooky Tuesday.
Okay, I was awake for the entire time I watched it the first time. Okay, but I
And
was
you'd
not,
already seen it.
and
Yeah.
I'd already seen it, but years ago. So like, let's not give that any credence. Like I forgot. I'll tell you what I thought the ending was, and you'll laugh.
Yeah, I want to hear.
But anyway, I noticed that in my partial viewing, I was like, they don't say where this is ever. I was like, Boston, like what's like where could it be? But there's no Boston accents, And I was like, oh no, it's just like the city as like a stand-in for like
Any
the
city.
downtown area and like the like rise of crime in any metropolitan area in the 90s or whatever. Like it's just supposed to be like downtown USA, like any city, just like
This
representing
could be happening
like,
to you, actually.
exactly. Yeah, I liked that because it was just like more like an overarching commentary on like how the world has gotten so shit that Somerset is like, doesn't matter if I'm doing good here. Like somebody just robbed a guy last night and got what they wanted and still stabbed him in both eyes. Like that's the analogy for the type of violence that's going on. And I really liked the setting too because it's obviously hyperbolized, like how bad it is. But like every second, I feel like that there wasn't like they weren't in a closed room. You can hear sirens going and people screaming and like like the echoes of violence on the street everywhere. And then it's like so miserable. It's pouring rain. Everything is disgustingly filthy dirty all the time. Like even the apartment that Tracy and oh well, what is Brad Pitt's character's name? I was so proud I remembered
Mills.
Tracy Mills. Tracy and
David.
Mills. David Mills. Um they had even their apartment that they had, which they're trying to have a nice place. It's still like a shithole, and it
Right
like
by the
looks run
train.
down. And
Mhm.
oh my god, that shit was so funny with the train shaking the entire place. It's so good. So I think the setting was really, really interesting part of this. They were doing a lot of good stuff here.
The movie creates this like incredible atmosphere that
Mhm.
like again movies back in the day, like as I was saying earlier, I think you could say that this movie was made now and it would like still kind of hold up. Like it felt like a movie that could be uh like plopped in, but now it would be a 7-part like mini series instead of like a whole movie, which honestly
I would
I
love.
would watch that as like a remake and then keep who the killer is under wraps again. I think that would actually fuck really hard.
That would fuck really hard.
Do you know what this movie is though? This movie's
What?
like a proto Saw movie.
Yeah. This it
Oh,
also
100%. 100%. This is such yeah,
yeah.
it now that I know what Saw is, because like I didn't watch it for 17,000 years because I was like, it's gonna be so terrible. No, it's literally 7. It is 7. That's spot
And
on, Chelsea.
this movie also gives like a more violent Alfred Hitchcocky type movie as well.
Yeah, and
The man moving around in the beginning.
yeah, and like it's
Like
like
a
a modern
detective, like
noir, detective
mhm.
noir. I mean, they're literally wearing this hat. I mean, this
Yeah.
is like an Indiana Jones hat that I'm wearing. It's specifically I got it to
They
look
all
like
have
Indiana
ties. They all have
Jones.
crazy ties.
A little
They all
detective
wearing
fedora.
trench coats and they're
IMDb trivia said Brad Pitt brought his own ties to set because he wanted his character to have bad style. And so I was like, so do you have bad style, Brad Pitt? Or
Well,
he went out
at
and he
this
bought
just
dad
time,
sounds
ties on
completely.
purpose?
It was a basketball tie. I was trying to figure out what it was. It's literally basketball hoops with a basketball going in. I thought it was martini glasses. It's basketball. At least one of them. At least the one at the beginning.
well, and
Crazy.
two, was this when Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow were dating, or
Yeah.
did they start dating because of this movie?
They were already dating because IMDb trivia said that David Fincher, the director, really wanted Gwyneth Paltrow to be in the movie, and she wasn't really down. And so he was like, Brad, can you please talk to Gwen? Because you guys are dating. And then she eventually agreed to be in it.
As she should. She was
She's so
she's so good
interesting.
in this. I love Gwyneth Paltrow. Like her as a
Well,
person
What's
is
her
good
deal,
so
queen.
man?
fascinating to me. But like Brad Pitt wasn't at this time like a crazy hot star. He'd like just come off of like the previous year Interview with a Vampire, which like wasn't
Oh,
it didn't have like good reviews. And then like I think he'd
dumb.
done like True Romance and Thelma and Louise within
Mhm.
like a 5-year span of that. And Morgan Freeman was coming off of fucking Shawshank Redemption.
Fuck.
And it's Morgan Freeman, right? Like everybody loves him. Like for it's like I always thought this was in my head that this was like a Brad Pitt movie.
Well, he's first billed,
No.
which I found really
Yeah,
interesting.
But it's
Just because
absolutely a
B
Morgan
comes before
Freeman
M.
movie. Well, according to our podcast lawyer, naming poster placements is actually like a huge thing that
is.
they like
Yeah.
discuss in their contracts and stuff like
It's
that.
a same
So,
similar thing for music festivals.
mhm.
Like the size of the font on the music festival billing, like is a huge
and like which
fight.
thing? It's like it's such a
Mhm.
thing. So I do find it interesting that Brad Pitt, who at the time was like a lesser known actor, is billed before the the ageless vampire Morgan Freeman.
He has looked the exact same for 50 years. Like, what? I don't understand how he
What a
does it.
beautiful, beautiful man.
I love him.
It is.
So
I
much.
thought it
love
was
his
so interesting
freckles.
that he was billed first. Like, I really was surprised by that, and then I was like, well, I guess he's Brad Pitt. But if you're saying he wasn't even, well, I mean, he was
He wasn't
Brad
even
Pitt,
Brad Pitt.
but he
He wasn't Brad Pitt at the time.
he wasn't at his most Brad Pittiest, I guess.
Right? Like, I think for me, I think Brad Pitt like really kind of cemented himself with Fight Club.
Yeah, that's what I was
And
looking
that
at.
was
That's
1999.
Yeah,
And
but he had
isn't that
been
also another
around for.
He'd been around, but not
He'd been
like
around for
that
15
guy.
years. Or not 15 years. 8 years at this point. He'd been doing stuff for 8 years. He'd been in Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, but he was a side character basically in like just kind of like hot.
He was in one episode of Tales from the Crypt. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
there we go.
What are you
there we
talking about,
go.
Sydney?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Yeah, no, I mean, I guess Interview with the Vampire was his first like big starring role. I mean, I'm not super familiar with everything he's done before then.
But Interview with the Vampire, like they put him with Tom Cruise. They were trying to do that, and people didn't really like react to it the way that they thought they would do it. So I think this helped him like do stuff, and then I think Fight Club like really solidified him. And quite frankly, I think his Mr. and Mrs. Smith and the whole tangle with Jen and Angelina Jolie, I think that is what truly cemented him as like hot, sexy, in demand, leading. I think that whole controversy like really skyrocketed his career.
I do
Oh,
think
yeah.
that there's some truth to that. Not just the affair necessarily, but that he's a well-known actor for sure. He's had a lot of big roles for sure. But I think he became so big in part because of the celebrity of it all. And him and Jennifer Aniston being like this golden Hollywood couple. And then even more when it like exploded, and then he and Angelina Jolie were like this big other Hollywood powerhouse
everywhere.
I think the celebrity nature of that for sure was a big part of how he became like the name for household hot guy.
Yeah, I think he already was the superstar before that drama though. Like
before the Angelina Jolie drama, sure. But him and Jennifer Aniston as a couple, that might have been like
a huge part of it, 100%. But yeah, he had Ocean's 11 at that point. Like, yeah, that was fucking huge. I remember that. He was Achilles in Troy. Like, he was already at the top of his game, and then that's why that scandal was so fucking crazy. And that's why he survived it.
Yeah, but
because
I think
he was already so beloved.
Launched him into mega celebrity stardom.
I think he was already there,
knocked him down at the end when he beat Angelina Jolie, and now all his kids are dropping Pitt from their last name.
So many people involved in this movie.
I know, so many bad people. I know.
Morgan Freeman, perfect baby, please. I don't want to Google it and find out. Don't
the
take
only
him
drama
away from
I remembered, I Googled and was just like National Enquirer bullshit. So,
oh. Well, there is some Morgan Freeman drama with this movie, but it's actually not Morgan Freeman. It's Somerset himself. There's like a huge conspiracy online that Somerset is actually the killer. So it's interesting.
No, Brad Pitt's the killer. I told you that.
Mills was the killer.
Mills was actually the killer.
Yeah, no, like it's funny that you thought that because nobody thinks that. Everybody thinks it was Somerset.
It's really funny that you thought that where they were like, so Mills was actually the killer, and everybody was like,
"Oh, really?
No, yeah,
Mills is not actually the killer. 100%.
No,
he's Somerset.
He's too stupid in this movie, unfortunately.
Unless he's the one that worked so hard to get onto the force. He's the one that requested to be here, and Morgan Freeman is like, "Why'd you do that?" And I was like,
"Because he's hot-headed and ambitious." Because he's
'Cause
hot-headed
he's
and
got a plan
ambitious.
on you, Morgan Freeman. I was interpreting everything in the beginning so incorrectly as it turns out, or correctly
Okay.
if me and that one Reddit commenter are actually smarter than everybody else.
Well, the Somerset thing I thought was interesting because I'm not going to say that I noticed all of these things as well, because I didn't. But I'm going to read some of the points from this Reddit post, and it will be
Okay.
linked below. It says, "Oh, okay, this isn't his theory. It's one he saw on 4chan."
Well, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Now I'm scared. Now I'm scared. He said, "This isn't my theory, but I'm posting it here." So, Dockle Strange is innocent in this regard. He said the original posts were as follow: John Doe was just the patsy. Somerset was the real killer. In the beginning, we see a ton of Christmas tree air fresheners on the desk of Somerset. Somebody fact check. I tried to, but I can't get the movie to play on my computer right now. Something weird is happening with my chosen way to watch, so I'm working on it. Second thing, Somerset doesn't want Mills as lead detective on the case. Why? Mills has a lot of detective experience. He would have been more than capable of leading the investigation. Huh. Is that true even?
No.
He was trying to give the case away to Mills at first, but then he does get involved,
to throw them off
in
the
it.
track.
Fucking so this is also true. Then third, Somerset can be seen fleeing one of the crime scenes covered in blood.
What?
Was this person high
When?
on crack when they
What
wrote
movie
this?
are they watching? It's not the same movie that we watch. But also fact check this. I didn't pay attention.
I'm going to see if we can see the things on his desk.
The air fresheners. Okay, here's
Yeah.
another one. Mills brings up 2 references from Dante in the car when Doe is in the back seat. He never even acknowledges them. Okay, what is? Oh, I just threw something across the room.
Anger. Ah!
I don't know if like Dante's Inferno is like his trigger word where he's like, you say something about Dante's Inferno and John Doe's like, ah! Like I feel like he's pretty good at keeping himself cool, calm, and collected because he's, been doing these very crazy, complicated crimes and kills for over a year now. So it doesn't surprise me they didn't go crazy with the Dante stuff. Okay, then the next one is sorry. Okay, we're gonna discuss the end lightly here, but we're not gonna really go into it, so don't worry. We never actually see the head in the box. It was probably empty. Somerset faked being disgusted and wouldn't tell Mills it was empty, letting Mills' imagination run wild. This is wild. I want to live in this person's head for 1 minute and see what goes on in there. Next one. Somerset agrees to go over to Mills's house for dinner even though he he really doesn't like people anymore. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Why would he go over to dinner? That's so weird. That's something only a killer would do. Only a killer would go to dinner with someone.
Everybody knows you
Only
would
a killer.
never go and hang out at your co-worker's house, right, Monica?
Yeah, no, I would never. I would
Everybody
never
knows you would
invite someone
never
I just
invite
met
your
this week
new
to my Christmas party.
coworker. And they would
Let's
show
live in the
up.
house. Sydney and I
Killer.
became friends. Killer. We're both killers. Sydney and I are
We're
both killers. We're killers. Yeah. Anyway, and then the last one is Somerset asked Mills if he checked for a pulse on the victim. Mills said no. Then whoops, sorry, I can't read. Then ironically, when they found the sloth victim, no one bothered checking the pulse. It's because he knew they would eventually find the sloth victim and he knew he would still be alive. That I don't even know what that said. To be honest, I don't even recognize that as an English sentence.
That he didn't prompt him to check the pulse on purpose because he knew there would be a pulse. And so he's like, I'll just let everybody assume that they're dead so that we can get the shock moment.
So we can do a little jump scare.
So that I can go, gotcha.
Also, they're failing to talk about the fact that it was a very high intensity situation when they went into the sloth victim's home because they thought that he was the killer. And so they had the fucking SWAT team there being crazy. By the way, isn't that the guy from Scrubs?
Yes.
Isn't that the doctor from Scrubs?
It's the main
lead
guy
of the SWAT team. Yeah.
Yes.
It was so funny to see him in a serious role. I love him.
Where he's just like,
he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still acting like crazy batshit. But yeah, I was like, I know that face anywhere. I love him.
I actually just watched
Um,
the first 2 episodes of the new like
Oh
rebooted
yeah,
Scrubs. It was actually
how was
pretty
it?
cute. Highly
Okay,
recommend.
okay. I'm down for some Scrubs nostalgia. I love those boys.
Which guy are you
Yeah,
talking about?
the main one with the curly. Well, he doesn't have curly hair. I'm sorry. I implanted that from my brain because he has curly hair in real life. He was buzz cut. He's like in the front and he's one who talks a bunch in the helicopter at the end. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh
Oh,
God,
California?
what's
Is he
going on
Yeah.
down there?"
He's the
California?
chief of medicine in Scrubs.
Yeah, he's like the
Chief of
boss
medicine.
man.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was distracted because the chief of medicine from The Good Doctor is in this movie.
Wow, so many chiefs of medicines, also cops.
That's crazy. That's so weird.
And he
Anyway.
was in some other movie that we've done because I also remember being like Dr. Aaron Glassner or whatever his name is.
That's so funny. I don't know. I think that this theory, I like the idea of being a contrarian. That sounds fun. But I don't know. I think a lot of these are a big stretch. But one thing I did find through finding this Reddit theory, was another theory about like the purpose of John Doe doing what he's doing. And I did not get through this whole article, but basically there's an argument being made that like John Doe was actually doing all of this like, and it was about Somerset. So it was like about Somerset and like torturing him, it feels like, to like have him bear witness to this entire atrocity and like like squeeze out the last bit of hope it for humans that he had left, I guess.
Well,
Because I feel like Somerset is his match. You know, he's the only one smart enough to clock what John Doe's doing. Sorry, Sydney, what were you gonna say?
like I saw somebody talk about this too. Like historically, there is an eighth deadly sin, and I don't know how to pronounce it, and I just googled it. It's like ACEDIA, aceta, something, but it's spiritual apathy and dejection.
Interesting.
And
Acedia.
yeah, and so
Ooh.
they think that that's what Morgan Freeman's character
Ooh.
is.
That's a really cool theory. I like that a lot.
Well, it also makes sense with my reading of the film from the beginning, because I was like,
Shut
Brad
up.
Pitt is doing evil detective stuff to Somerset because he's a good detective and he's like coming for him specifically. And there's a lot of supporting evidence for that if you don't pay attention to the end of the movie.
If you just like turn it off.
If
at
you
the
just like
end.
turn it off halfway through, you can definitely find a lot of supporting evidence in the first half. But yeah, I can see that because he's clearly one of the detectives on the force who's been there the longest, and I'm sure he has had a lot of high profile cases under his belt because he seems to be well versed in serial killers. And well educated about the kind of bullshit that self-indulgent serial killers who think they're smarter than everybody like this guy would be, where it's like, oh, my literary references and stuff like that. So it does feel like he would be a target in many ways. And so for John Doe to be kind of overlooking him in many ways and just like not focused on him is so interesting in this movie, other than I guess you could say that he latched on to Brad Pitt in that hallway scene where they have the altercation and he's like, ooh, like this wrath can be provoked out of him, like it's so bubbling right under the surface at all times. And so
Yeah.
he's like glomming on there and has decided to make that his last tableau, maybe he thought he could provoke it out of Somerset, and then it was like this other guy, and it's like, ooh, and now I'm looking into who he is and his personal life, etc. But I don't know. It's interesting if Somerset is the target, that he's so like peripheral to the
Well,
ending.
I love that this eighth deadly sin thing. Oh wait, there's a thing that will tell me how you say it. Acedia. A nice
Acedia.
little dictionary girl just told me. Acedia, that's how you say it. Spiritual or mental sloth or apathy. Apathy, essentially. Um, and if you look it up, the picture for it is very slay. It's like sad girl, like with
Oh,
in like a bas relief kind of carving thing. Um, but yeah, I think that John Doe is fucking psychotic, Avi, but very, 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 very smart. And so I think Somerset's reputation precedes himself. Like he's clocking that like he probably knows stuff about him and like how he goes to their library and reads up on these things and stuff. So he's like providing all of these little notes so he'll get into it. But I also think that the other side of this is it's really interesting looking at Mill's character um and seeing his fall from grace because I don't know where he was exactly before he came to the big city
upstate.
the big city, but
Yeah.
it's so crazy to see like the two reactions to the blight of this place. Like Somerset has lived it his entire life. He's always been there. And so he's getting
Used to
to
it.
this acedia point where he is so apathetic. He knows he can't stay there anymore because of what it's taken from him and how depressing it is and just how demeaning being there and fighting these same fights and they keep coming back. Someone dies the next day, like just because you solved the last one, it won't stop the next one from happening. Meanwhile, you get Mills coming in, who is uh, described in the log line as a rookie, even though he is very adamant that he has 5 years of experience as a detective and blah blah blah, and he knows what he's doing. And he comes in guns blazing and like super ambitious and like thinking that he can handle this and that he's gonna be able to figure this all out, like too cool for school kind of thing. And then immediately, like it feels like the level of like horror that he is seeing like immediately cracks any bit of professionalism he has, and he's immediately back to being like a little baby bitch. Honestly, he's just like using slurs all the time, fighting everyone, like breaking protocol, breaking all of the rules like immediately because this has gotten under his skin like right away. And so I just think that's really interesting too, like how this crime, these series of crimes like breaks Mills right away and like just deadens Somerset even further. It was cool to see like them as foils to each other, having such like opposite reactions almost. Not
I
opposite,
Uh,
but you know.
You go,
go,
Sydney.
Chelsea. No, you go. Because I
No,
feel like
you
you're gonna.
go.
Ooh, after you.
Stop. As it sits with me and I am letting it marinate a little bit, I think it does the Acedia thing, it makes sense that he doesn't need to be so like in dialogue with Somerset directly to be like, and he's gonna be thinking about this one for a long time. And if what he's wanting is to break that acedia or to punish it, we certainly see that he's emotionally invested in the end when he's like begging Mills not to shoot him, and not to do it and not to give in. And it's like finally he has this like emotional investment that he's willing to be some degree of passionate about. Um,
Mhm.
and so if that is the goal, or if that is like why he doesn't get directly engaged with this because that is like broken, that is an interesting way for that to be dialoguing with the movie in that theory.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This movie I don't know, it hit so different for me watching it this time around than the first time I saw it. I remembered things that weren't in the movie. uh,
Like the Jamaican accent. Did you have that one too?
no,
Or
Chelsea, that's just you, babe. No, but like I remembered this being like obviously we chose it for a horror movie podcast. I think that is still valid because there's some absolutely horrific stuff going on within it, and Silence of the Lambs counts, so let's go, baby. But like I remembered more like active violence with the kills that we see that was not present in the film. So I think it just lives large in my imagination. And I think that like that's the point of the way they show the violence in this movie too. Where they like show you just enough, but you're not seeing, you know, that poor man being force fed and kicked. You're not seeing the lust, death, like him thrusting
and
or
thank
anything
God.
like that. In my mind, I've seen that. So that was a big shock for me. I remember seeing the body and that I just imagined it really well. So that's really good for me and my brain because that shit scarred me for life when I saw this movie. That one, the last one in particular, like really got under my skin. But yeah, I mean, I think it's very effective the way that they do it. Where one, they're not showing you something like absolutely fucking horrific because this is some of the most like grotesque murders, violence like I've seen in anything, but they don't show the act occurring. Thanks be to God. And again, it's that thing we always say where it's like it's almost better to imagine it yourself. They give you a lot. You see a lot of horrible things, but it's not a horror movie in that way where you're seeing the killer's point of view or anything like that. But yeah, I do think that like the design of the death design in these movies, in this movie is just like absolutely like, are you okay, writer of this? Like, whoa, these are some really like fucked up scenarios. Just the first one, the gluttony one, like that one really is really horrific. That one is just also just really hard to even talk about like throughout the movie because again, it's like 1995 and there's just so much like horrible language being used around that person and his death and um felt weird to watch this movie and then watch this most recent episode of The Pit right afterwards because there was some similar horrific like language and judgment happening and I don't know that I just was reminded of that I feel like was one of the hardest ones to watch just because the lack of sympathy from the police and everything was really really upsetting. um but yeah, were you guys deeply disturbed? Are you different after seeing some of these? Because I remember young me being like, oh,
Oh,
stares into distance blankly.
this again, I think I watched this movie at my grandparents' house when I was like 8
I
because they had
forgot
it on
about that.
VHS. I brought that up with my dad recently, and he goes, I don't know why they would have it. And he goes, I probably left it there. I was like,
Mark.
you did that. Mark always at the
Wow.
scene of the crime. I'm just saying.
Seriously.
But like this movie as a child like really fucked me up because I did watch this unsupervised like and
Even with like mommy or daddy there, it still would be really bad.
yeah, but like if mommy and daddy are there normally, you know, like they're covering your
They'll
eyes
cover your
or like
eyes,
doing
yeah.
that. And so you can like hear stuff, but you're not seeing stuff. And like even now, like as I'm older, like the thought of what is it? Gluttony, where he was like force feeding him spaghetti and he was like vomiting it up and then like refeeding him the like vomit like stuff on the floor and all this
I
kind of stuff.
forgot about the vomit
Yeah,
being
yeah,
fed
yeah.
part.
I was just like,
he-
I was like, oh my God. Like the to
How's
be
this man have the time?
also I saw like a fun fact. Like
Oh, good. Bring a
the
little fun
actor
in.
like they decided because they had to put the actor in like
Oh.
such a large fat suit that they would at least give him a large dick prosthetic as like a makeup thing. And I was like, unfortunately,
It was a pretty big dick.
but here's the thing. If he weighed that much and his dick was that big, he must have had like the biggest dick in the world because like with men, when you gain weight, your dick tends to like get smaller. And if like
What?
it's a thing. Like
I did not know
You're
that.
saying it actually gets smaller, or you're saying
Or
it
is it
stands
just
out from the
look
body
smaller?
less?
I think it like it obviously looks smaller, but I think like it will like naturally like shrink a little bit. And so I was like, this man must have had a huge dog.
You
for
know
him.
what? Let him have it. Let him have
Yeah,
it.
I'm like, good for
He's
him.
been through a
kid.
lot.
I mean, that was another prestige TV show through line because we had the pit with the patient who was over 400 pounds and the way that he was spoken about in the episode and shown compassion as well by many other characters, which was nice.
Yeah.
And so that was
Just
part of
not
why it was
fucking
so
Ogilvy,
whiplash to
bitch.
come to this movie afterwards. But on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, there's one character who you see hang hog in the second episode, and it is crazy hog, girl. It is insane.
It's Willem
And
Dafoe level hog. I'm just saying.
The hog through line is really crazy.
well, because they were like, that character only exists in flashbacks, so let's give him something memorable on the. That's what the showrunner was saying. He was like, I wanted to let this character have this because not that it's important to the character, but because it's like this character only exists in memory, so let's give him something
So let's
memorable.
Let's give him hog. Actually,
Let's let him
think that's a good
hang
trade-off.
dong crazy style.
style.
Hang dong crazy style.
Crazy style.
Name of the episode.
Name of the episode. I immediately just want to text the chat.
It's about a
Cool.
completely different piece of media, you guys.
It doesn't matter. It's funny.
You shouldn't say phrases like that if you don't want us to name the episode after it.
Look,
We're gonna get whenever we have a title of the episode that is lightly sexual, we get like hundreds more views on YouTube because people, I guess, are trying to find like horny shit on YouTube.
people are going on
And then they end up
YouTube
with
searching
us.
hang dong.
Crazy style.
Our episode
Anybody hang
on
dong crazy style out there?
Bram Stoker's Dracula is called Erotic Nightmare or something like that. And it has like 700 more views than our normal shit does because I guess I don't know what they thought they were getting, but
I feel like I saw
We
that the
didn't get it.
Terrifier episode also had a lot of views recently, and I was like, and the name on that one is Pussy Torture. So
Yep. Yep.
Are you sick freaks looking at? Love you.
Well, also the bitches just love Terrifier. The one when we did Terrifier 2, that one did Cuckoo Crazy Banana Clubs, and I don't think
That's
Pussy
true.
Torture was the name of that one. And that was this year. Or last year, I guess. Anyway, back to the movie. Less dongs. What's your favorite of the 7 deadly sin kills?
That was the question that I was going to ask earlier where Chelsea and I were like, no, you go first. No, and so it was the right
What's
vibe.
your
I was like,
favorite. If you could be a 7 deadly sins kill, which one would you be?
here's the thing. I would probably be Pride. If you disfigured my face like that, I probably also would end it all. Like, what's the point? Goodbye. No, thank you.
Oh my god. Brutal.
The
That one's
worst
brutal.
one, though, to me, is Lust, I think.
That one is like the scariest thing ever.
Yeah, like it's like psychological tort. Like, obviously, the lady is like dead, right? Like, she's fucked, but like the psychological torture of the guy who, like, this guy had a gun in his mouth, being like, you have to do this. Like, this man will never be able to have sex, like, ever again.
It's just so bad on all sides. Everything is terrible. The only thing that isn't bad is the fact that the knife schlong that they got made from the Leather Daddy store looked fucking so cool. It did look really
It
cool.
was sick. Yeah.
It was
It looked
just
sick
like-
as
He was
fuck.
like, I
It did
made
look
weirder
really sick.
shit.
And then the
I
guy
didn't blink an eye at
they
this.
took the picture of it with them. He was
Mhm.
like, "Wait, I need the picture back."
That's
It's
for my
like, that's my cool thing I made.
portfolio.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
That part
he's
was
like, I
super
just thought he
funny.
was like a performance artist who like will piss on
Like
stage to drink the piss.
yeah, that shit was so funny.
It's just like a
Oh
little
my god, yeah,
Ouroboros of piss.
Ugh.
that one was so fucking scary. I'd forgotten about the greed and the pound of flesh part. I did love the pound of flesh, and with like the lawyer scales,
Judging
the
the
scales
scales.
of yeah,
Yeah.
judging the scales and him like cutting off the flesh. I thought that was, obviously steeped in metaphor. But I loved it. Like let's really get in there. John Doe, great job.
Yeah.
Um but just
Y-
the commitment, the time commitment to sloth do be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that one is really wild. Adding all of the air fresheners throughout the year so that this man who's essentially rotting away in bed is not having attention drawn to this apartment.
To being rotten. But I feel like that many air fresheners wouldn't cover the scent of slowly decaying human man.
Yeah, but he's not actually a dead body. So
Yeah.
it's
He
not,
still got
I
blood
think
going
it's,
through him.
it's not great, but it smells like a sick person, not a dead person, presumably.
Yeah.
I did, I mean, I don't like. I thought that it was a very diabolical, smart move of the killer to have the like scrapings from when he moved the fridge at the gluttony kill, to have the scrapings from the floor be a clue in the stomach contents that leads them to look behind there and then are able to like connect those
Mm,
cases to each other. I thought that that was really interesting presentation of the
yeah.
crime scene, or a way to be like leading the detectives around.
Mhm.
Um, it was interesting when you said you remembered more violence in
Yeah.
the movie. I went to look to see if there were any deleted scenes, and there are, and I haven't watched them yet. I've just kind of been like clicking through them a little. I don't know that you see any more of Lust, but you do see more of the pride scene, at least.
Yeah, because the pride scene felt like such a flash in the pan for me. Like it was just
Mhm.
like an aside, which is why I got my sins confused when I was trying to remember the ending. But I'll say that after you say this.
Yeah, I mean that one. What I again, I haven't watched this. I'm just clicking through, but I guess they kind of cut it for time. This is not a short movie. It's not a particularly crazy long movie, but it is over 2 hours,
Two
including
hours and
credits.
7 minutes, I think.
Uh-huh. Um, and so I would guess that they felt like that scene was just already communicated enough through the rest of the movie. But what you see is that like in the bathroom, there's all kinds of like blood and stuff in the bathroom sink. And written on the wall is, I did not kill her. She was given a choice, which is kind of what Morgan Freeman's character explains to us, with like the
Mm.
phone glued in one hand and the pill bottle glued in the other, of like she could have called for help, but she didn't want to live this way. And so like that is a very I mean they're all psychologically absolutely horrible. But I guess that I don't know. I don't love that kill. But I can see how John Doe arrives at that concept. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's that strong of a kill. It's the least memorable. And it's so quick, and you don't like, I don't know, there's no mystery surrounding it. It's just like they're like, "Oh, let's just get through this one so we can get to the climax of the film," which is like fine. The climax of the film is fucking crazy. Um, but I was trying to remember what was happening, and I was like an hour into the movie, and I had to take a break and go do shit. And I was like, "Yeah, so at the end, right? Like, isn't Brad Pitt Pride?" I was like, Brad Pitt's Pride, right? Because he's like, I thought he was like acting like he was too cool for school and like that he was like such a great detective that he could like flout the rules and like do whatever he wanted to get to the like finding out who this killer was because he kept
Where
breaking
he
down
breaks into
doors
the
you shouldn't.
apartment, yeah.
Yeah, breaks into the apartment. He's doing all these things, and he's like,
Bribes
I'm
an
really good
unhoused
at what I
person.
do. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and like yeah, all that shit. He does all this illegal shit, and so I thought it was like, and he's also like talking up how good he is at being a detective, and he has all this experience and blah 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 blah. So that's what I was thinking was gonna happen because I remembered it wrong. I was like, I know that he is one of the sins in the end, and it must be pride, right? No, no.
I thought that Somerset was going to be Envy after the whole conversation with Goop about pregnancy and
Goop.
with and wanting to have a child, and she because I
Yeah.
thought that
Yeah.
was another I was like, see, she's going behind her husband's back because she senses that she can't trust him. But she talks to Morgan Freeman about it just because she's not prepared to present it to her husband yet, and like
Yeah.
she says, she doesn't
And Morgan
know
Freeman
anybody
is a
else.
lovely man.
And he's a lovely man, and that's why I don't believe that he would ever be in on the killings because I see Somerset's heart. He has a good heart.
Yeah.
Um,
It gets a little muddied with the bribing people to cover up the fact that they are illegal or not illegal. That doesn't matter here. Blah blah blah. Whatever. But I thought that that was going to be what that was drawing on is that, like, oh, you wanted what he was having. You were talking about it. That conversation made its way back, where he was saying, I think I made the right choice, but every single day I also regret it, or whatever he was saying, where it's like, I don't regret it, but every single day I wonder what if I hadn't, what if I'd done something different. I think he would have liked to have had a family and been a father, but it's like with the Acedia where his view of the world was just too jaded and he didn't think that there was anything that could be done. And so to him it didn't feel right to make that decision. But talking to Gwyneth Paltrow's character, he's like, but if you do make that decision, like spoil that kid every chance that you get. I thought that that was a really touching
Mm-hmm.
scene. And so I thought that that was going to be what was like pulled on. And so for John Doe at the end to be like, that's my sin because I envied, I don't know, like that felt a little hollow to me. Maybe it would have been more powerful if we'd seen him with Tracy, whose name I just remembered. But
Yeah.
obviously, then you lose the impact of the surprise unless they're doing like a flashback cutaway in that moment, which maybe lessens the tension. I mean, there could be a way to do it, but it's not what they did here. So
Yeah,
um,
I do feel that was kind of like one of the weakest representations of sin was the envy.
yeah. Do
I agree
you
with you there.
like? I think like through the movie you see Kevin Spacey in the background kind of like following along, like he's
Mm-hmm.
the photographer that Brad Pitt kind of like shoos out. There's a scene where they're talking, him and Morgan Freeman are like talking, and you can see like in the very back he's like standing in the rain like watching them, and they walk like right past him. And
IMDb trivia said that the leather guy, Wild Bill, his leather emporium, that he was like, oh, a man with a limp, and then you see like a man with a limp in the background was one of them I saw.
Mm.
there's one in that diner scene where there's a guy in a hat, and it people think that that might be Kevin Spacey like
Mm.
sitting there and like listening, and that's how he finds out that like she's pregnant, or like he's going through her trash at some point, because in the opening title credits or something there's something about like pregnancy and blah 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 like written in it, and so people are like, oh no, like he's actively like stalking like these people to kind of like keep up with what's going on.
I don't know. I mean, I wish I had rewatched it a second time to be on the lookout after reading IMDb trivia and everything like that too, because it didn't even occur to me. to be looking for. I thought I was so on top of everything.
Well, you thought it was Brad Pitt as
And
the
I,
killer.
is he an evil man? Yes, no, maybe.
Mhm.
But I know it's interesting the way that they like interact with each other. Like it does seem in the beginning like Somerset is really being drawn onto the case in a way that he can't escape from. One of the deleted scenes that I was just browsing on YouTube, he's like looking at a house in like a lovely suburban area. Um and so I wonder if they were really just showing him like he's moving along, he's moving away, he's putting it all behind him. And the suburban nature of it that draws into like the end. I don't know. The ending obviously is very famous, I guess, and slays in many ways.
Well, and they fought really hard to keep this ending because originally they thought they might put a dog's head in it or like something, and Brad Pitt and like David Fincher were like, no, they wanted like a lighter
yeah, I saw that the
ending.
studio wanted to change it, and Brad Pitt was like, I won't do it
No.
then I
Yeah.
won't do
my
the
dead
movie.
body.
Yeah.
The dog's head, that's interesting because he does have the dogs, and I almost forgot about them. But when they first get in and he's like, where are the kids? And she's like, they're in their room or whatever. And then Morgan Freeman is just like taking his coat off and he has his gun on and she's looking at it and he's like, don't worry, I won't wear it to the dinner table. I was like, where the fuck are you gonna secure your gun with kids in the house? But then the kids were just dogs. But so like I could see that being like it's evidence that I went to your home and I took something of value to you and I took something that represents, even if it's not your wife or your child, it's like the dog is this vision of the classic Americana kind of thing. So I can see how that could have been
It would
a
have been John
pivot.
Wick before John Wick.
And I could see how like the dog could be like an implication of what can be done or maybe what has been done without knowing for sure something has been done. I don't think we need to see the head in the box to believe Somerset personally, or to, yeah, because he's the one who says, he doesn't say he's seen it. He just doesn't dispute what John Doe is saying is in there. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like again, there's always the risk when you like show something that like that it looks stupid and it ruins your point, you know?
Mhm.
I'm glad we didn't see Gwyneth Paltrow's decapitated head.
Did they make one though? Just
I
curious.
don't know. I would have asked them to make one for me, just for me, but I always want a decapitated
Yeah.
head, actually.
Dude, that's why I'm so jealous of JoJo. Do you remember JoJo had one? The JoJo on the radio on Kiss FM was in a horror movie once and he gets decapitated in it. And so they made a life cast of his head and he has it still and he always would talk about it. And I was so jealous. It's so cool. I want to be
dream.
decapitated in a horror movie.
But
please.
I don't know if I could sit for a life cast because of my latex allergy. And most of the time, that's like what that is.
That would be rough. Yeah.
Somebody make a paper mache version of my
Go old school with it.
That's so funny. I love that. Somebody work on that. I'm gonna start paper macheing for the first time soon for my birthday party.
So you can
okay,
use
Monica,
his head
I
as
get
your
really
project.
good at it.
Put me as a decapitated head, like a gorilla or something can rip it off.
Could be fun.
Okay.
Something to think about.
Okay, I will do it. It's so fucking funny. Oh my god.
The Saw parallels are just crazy in this movie. Like, I know I brought it up already, but it really is wild. They do a similar pound of flesh thing in one of the Saw movies.
Oh yeah, because you've watched all of them.
Yeah, because I watched all of them.
You did that crazy thing where you watched them all in a week after we did our Saw episode.
I know it was like months after we did our Saw episode, but it was because Saw 10 was coming out. and I like watched one,
Oh.
two, maybe just one and two. Had only seen a couple of them, and then I saw 10, and then I was like, maybe this would hit better if I've seen all of them. And so I watched all of them, and I saw 10 again, and then I was like, I've consumed too much Saw all smashed together, and they are all overlapping timelines, and they're all constantly being like, what you thought in the beginning of the movie is not what's going on, and what I told you last movie was a lie. So it's kind of hard to parse them a little bit. But they do a pound of flesh thing, and he's so like karmic punishment for your actions, which is the very like seven deadly sins nature of this all, like, oh, you're fat, you're gluttony then, and oh, you love being beautiful, then your sin is pride, and I'm gonna make you not beautiful. And the ending is so like, welcome to your trap, Detective David Mills. Or if we're going with the acedia theory, welcome to your trap, Somerset. Um, it's just very, and like the detective, like noir aspect of it, that's so present in Saw. We don't get the torture aspect on screen here, which I think is nice. And that's why Saw set itself apart. And
Yes.
also had you like chilling with them for so long in that bathroom.
They saw this movie. James Wan saw this movie, and he was like, me. We're like, he imagined that the girl was getting sawed in half, and he saw it as well. And he's like, what if I make a movie where you do get to see that happen? Thank you for filling that void, James Wan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and like dragging innocent bystanders into it. Like the guy with in the Lust Kill who is there to wear the knife dildo. Um, it just he's John Kramer is such a crazy bitch. Sometimes he's like, you're a murderer, and so you're gonna get murdered. And then sometimes he's like, you cheated on your wife, and that's bad, you little bitch. So
Die.
get in the get in the flaying
zone,
machine.
AutoZone.
Yeah. That's what he says. That's crazy. That's the most famous quote from Saw.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Yeah, I get chills down my spine every
when I
time I
think
It's
hear
haunting,
that.
quite frankly.
Get in the zone. The AutoZone.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, it just is. It's wild. To watch this movie, Longlegs felt also like a pull. I guess Silence of the Lambs kind of covers that more, but especially
Yeah.
when you see like all the neon religious iconography in John Doe's apartment, that felt very Longlegs.
Totally. Yeah, that's very clear. That was an inspiration point too. I see that for sure. Yeah, I also think that we can't talk about this movie without saying at least the words one time, Criminal Minds. Thank God that this movie happened. Maybe that was partially an inspiration for Criminal Minds, because God, I miss that show so much. Every week there was a serial killer that had the same depth of inspiration that John Doe here has. Oh, I lived for that shit. It was so good.
I think what's it called? True Detective takes a lot of inspiration from, especially the first season, takes a lot of inspiration from this movie.
True Detective season 1 is part of Adam and I's love story.
The first season is like really good. I think honestly, the first season, like, I think the ending could have been even darker. I think they should have, like, I don't know.
I don't remember what happened.
Got
in
weirder.
It's been 12 years since I watched it. But yeah, Adam, it like was coming out that summer, and Adam and I like had started dating, and so we like would watch it together, and then like he was like coming back to my place to watch it, and then we like had our first kiss.
Whoa.
Ooh, Matthew McConaughey, set the mood. Set the mood.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I would love to rewatch that show. Okay. We kind of like, what is there more Seven stuff we want to say before we move on to segments?
There is some interesting trivia.
Oh
I didn't
yeah,
make it through all of
spill,
it because
queen.
there's a lot on there.
Yeah.
But just some interesting ones. Um, the journals that we see at one point at John Doe's apartment, apparently those are all real and all filled, and it did take them like 2 months to make those props. Which is an interesting pull because in the script, Somerset says like it would take us 2 months to read them. So yeah, it says it took 2 months to complete and it cost $15,000. So that's just like an interesting, fun little thing. Um, Part of the reason that David Fincher was also so set on making this movie as the script was written, or as the original script was written at least, is because he had just come off of Alien 3 a few years earlier, um, where he had a lot of studio interference apparently, and it said he was fired 3 different times on that movie over creative control. Um, so he was like very determined to make the movie that he wanted to make this time around, and the fact that Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman were like allies in that cause of wanting to make the movie that they signed on for was helpful. In the gluttony kill scene, apparently they released 7 crates of cockroaches on set. Um, and they used some sort of Vaseline trick to like keep them in the apartment or on the set. I wonder if they like they don't want to crawl over it or through it. So if they just like mark around the exits or something, maybe they'll stay contained.
Good
But
to know. I'm gonna remember that when I decide to torment somebody.
yeah, when you become John Kramer, because I do believe you'll have it in you.
I
But they were crawling everywhere in that scene, and they gave the actor who was playing the victim like they stuff to put in his nose and in his ears so that they couldn't crawl in those particular orifices. But it says it didn't stop them from crawling into his underwear, which is very upsetting. Um,
I don't
so
like that.
and there's also just an interesting line of dialogue in the movie. An IMDb trivia says, and people probably got this on their own, at least some of them. But it says, when Mills lists motives that killers give, one of them is Jodie Foster told me to do it, which, as you
Yeah.
know, famously John Hinckley Jr.
I
Um,
love John Hinckley Jr.
he believed that Jodie Foster was sending him messages through the TV to kill Ronald Reagan. And he says, my
True.
dog told me to do it, which is
The
very
son of Sam.
similar. The son of Sam said his neighbor's dog was telling him to commit murders. So just, they're pulling from the headlines in many ways working on this film. So
I know one trivia.
say it, girl.
Here's my one trivia. Apparently, I saw this, but I didn't look at the timestamp. In the like final scenes, at exactly when there's exactly 7 minutes left in the movie, Pachow! Gwyneth Paltrow's face comes on the screen for one frame.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. I just didn't realize it was exactly 7 minutes before the end. So
Interesting.
yeah, I thought that was cool.
I also have
What's
a fun number 7 related fact. Brad Pitt's character is talking about Morgan Freeman, talking about how he's only ever like shot his gun like once at work, and then at the end,
Yeah,
he shoots Kevin Spacey 6 times, meaning he has shot his gun 7 times in total.
Ooh, love. I love it when they get real granular with it like that.
I love
Like,
when they
yes,
bring the title
queen.
of the movie into everything.
It's important. It's the wizard number after all.
The police badge used in the film does not identify the setting. It only says Metropolitan, similar to the
Mhm.
Police Academy franchise. So yeah, that's what you guys are saying. Brad Pitt, here's another one for you, Sydney. Brad Pitt earned $7 million for starring in this film.
There we go. When they're
Wow.
walking on the street, all of the buildings all start with 7, and in the captain's thing, his like office is labeled like 705 or something like that. So like every room and building starts with a 7.
IMDb trivia
Oh.
said this was the 7th highest grossing film of 1995.
Wow,
Should
they
I
could have
just
done
search for?
that.
Let me just control F
That
for
shit was
7.
cosmic. Truly cosmic.
7 crates of cockroaches. Blah blah blah. Okay,
They're
fascinating.
really doing a lot. I really
Mhm.
love that. It's really special. Okay, are we ready for our
Segmentos?
let's fucking go. Okay. How could 7 be gay?
Uh, Gwyneth Paltrow, a man.
Amazing. I don't want any gay people to be hurt though, so like I'm okay if we leave the gays out of this because everyone dies so horrifically.
Morgan Freeman
nothing
and Brad
good
Pitt
happens.
have like weird, hot, sexy sexual tension, and there's a scene where they do little smooches at one point to soothe each other after each horrific scene.
They do 7 smooches throughout the film. Did you
Yeah.
catch them all?
This shaving scene is very intimate.
Mhm.
That is intimate. That there was some vibes happening there. I remember that. That was so funny.
I was just trying to remember what that scene reminded me of from another movie that we've covered, but it was Crimson Peak. There's that like bathroom murder scene in Crimson Peak, right? With her, that's how her dad.
Oh, yeah. He's shaving and then
They slit his
the
throat or
killer
something.
comes in. No, fucking smashes his
head.
face into the sink and breaks the sink and caves his fucking head in. Sick.
Cool. Yeah. That's not gay though. I was reminded of that.
There's
It came
just
to me in a flash just then.
also shaving.
Yeah, there's just also shaving. Yeah, I mean, Somerset could easily be I mean, he is in many ways a confirmed bachelor.
Mhm.
Throughout the movie and at the end of the movie. He did have this one romance. I mean, I think both of their plots involve a pregnancy, so you'd have to be a little creative with how you adapt that if you're putting them in queer pairings, but it's certainly possible. And it could certainly be for him that he and his partner were talking about adopting. His partner really wanted a child. He was like pushing it forward, and then eventually he was like, I just can't imagine going out of my way, where it's not even like we got pregnant and we're having this discussion. It's like we have to choose to go out of our way for someone to get pregnant or to pick a baby. So I could see that would be an interesting angle for his character to be more queer.
Or it could be exactly how it already was, and he just knows that he is queer on the inside, and that is part of the reason why he didn't want the pregnancy to come to term, because then he'd be tied to a relationship that doesn't speak his truth. You know what I mean?
Or if he's bisexual, and he
Mhm.
has that happen, and he has this sort of traumatic realization that he doesn't ever want to be responsible for bringing a child into this world. He's like, and while I am attracted to women still, I will only be having relationships with men where there's no risk of pregnancy going forward.
Yeah, I could definitely see a queer read for him for sure. Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt, I would love to see kissing a man, just in
Brad
general.
Pitt saying lots of F slurs, how poetry is gay, blah blah blah. I was waiting for
He
when I thought he
doth
was a
protest
villain.
too much.
Yeah, I did think that there was going to be a sort of classic projection style reveal there at some point.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then he says something, he makes a little joke to Morgan Freeman at one point where he's like, if I keep staying out late, my wife is going to think there's something going on here. It's like, okay, well, you want something to be going on here. And your time as a young man in the police academy or whatever, up until only semi recently, obviously it's been a minute now. He said he did his time knocking doors. Now he's ready to be detective. He's been a detective already, but I think he has a much younger man's push back on the idea that anybody might ever look at him and suspect that he could be a queer. So, yeah, and then of course he's like, oh, but homoerotic besties as soon as I get a little more comfortable. So he's definitely got something going on that he's not addressing.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. Okay, any other gay thoughts we'd like to share?
So many more gay thoughts.
Literally, I know you've been eating for the last few minutes, but watching your mouth on that one, trying to get the words around it.
I've got so much talent and skill. What that mouth do though?
Okay.
Sweet Christ.
All right. Well,
Um,
the numbers. Oh,
Wait, no, we
we've got
haven't
other
done any of our other
segments.
segments,
No,
babe.
we're not doing those
Matthew
today. I think we're
Lillard,
going
Matthew
straight to knives out of
Lillard.
fives.
Oh, we're doing Matthew Lillard.
Sorry,
Matthew
Matthew Lillard. I
Lillard.
apologize.
Let's just get all the trauma out of the movie. Bye, Kevin Spacey. Hello, Matthew Lillard.
Well, there's no
I would
escaping
love-
all of it with Brad Pitt here too.
I know,
Well,
but we can't.
And in
there's only so much we
1995,
can do.
Matthew Lillard was like an unknown still.
That's okay.
He
He
can't be
could do
the
it.
killer because he wasn't like a big enough actor to like.
When have we
cause.
Can be
ever
whatever in
put
our
that
world.
in?
I know.
When have we ever
We're like
considered
this
that ever?
time-traveling baby.
Kevin Spacey is a villain.
Guys,
He
it wouldn't be
deserves to
realistic.
stay
It
being
wouldn't
the
be
villain.
realistic.
I think Matthew Lillard should replace the Scrubs guy and be the one at the very end, like chitty chatting and narrating the whole thing that happens to us.
Okay. I agree.
Or
I agree.
he could be the guy that has to wear the knife dildo.
No,
Oh,
veto.
no.
I don't want that journey for
No.
him. I'm sure he would do a good job. The actor said that they like fasted and stayed up for days to give off that sort of like desperate manic energy. So I wish Matthew Lillard a good night of sleep and a fulfilling meal all the time. So let's spare him. But he could be one of the guys. He like you said, in real life, he's only 25 years old. He's an unknown actor to some degree at this time. Scream comes out just 1 year later. Well, he'll rocket to stardom. But he could be one of the police officers in the library playing poker. And they're like, "You're gonna miss us." That's him. That's him shouting out, "You're gonna miss us." And Somerset's going, "Okay, yeah, maybe."
I love that. That's perfect. Okay. Are we ready for dumb bitch?
Yeah.
I'm ready for knives.
Okay, dumb bitch. Dumb bitch is Brad Pitt because he is being crazy and
Oh my god, yeah.
he's being very prideful, in my opinion. If you want to ask me, I thought he was
He's
being
so
rather
twitchy
prideful.
in this movie.
Yeah, he's so. I think it's a really good performance. It's very outside of the Brad Pitt that you know walking down the street. You know what I mean?
Dumb Bitch is the Oscars, the Academy, for not nominating Morgan Freeman as Best Actor for this movie.
Maybe.
Agreed.
I could see that.
Like, I think he deserved to at least be nominated. I know these kind of movies are not something that the Academy likes to touch, but it's so good. It's so good.
Seriously, I agree. I agree with you. He's so good in this. It's really spectacular. Okay.
John Doe is a dumb bitch, though. I hate this bitch.
No, I know, but he's also so smart. Like, he did a really good job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
He did a great job. Except for the whole envy one, I thought was a little far-fetched. If I have to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, like I was saying earlier, I think there's a way to drive that home where it would have hit differently, but then you're just like messing with the pacing of the ending, and that may be of paramount importance. So
Okay, 9 out of 5.
Go, Chelsea. It's your time to shine.
I'm not ready anymore. I've moved on emotionally. Now I need time to circle back. Okay. Speaking of the Academy, but I'll get to that in a second. First, IMDb. I always want to say IMDb trivia. The words just flow together off my tongue. On IMDb, this movie has an 8.6 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has 84% fresh from critics and 95% fresh from audiences. It was nominated for Best Film Editing at the 1996 Oscars, but that's the only Oscars poll. However, at the 1996 Critics' Choice Awards, Kevin Spacey did win for Best Supporting Actor. But where it really performed well was at the 1996 MTV Movie and TV Awards, of course, where I would say it did kind of a sweep. It was nominated for Best On-Screen Duo for Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, although it lost to Tommy Boy. Because I was like, what did it lose to? I went and looked it up. But it won Best Villain for Kevin Spacey, Most Desirable Male for Brad Pitt, and Best Movie. Although it is interesting, like you guys were saying, Sydney was saying she wanted the nom for Morgan Freeman. He's, other than Best On-Screen Duo, I think he's like we were saying earlier, to me, he's the undisputed star of this movie. He's the lead, but it seems that was not perceived to be the case, maybe. I don't know.
People were distracted by what's in the box. You know what I mean?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? He says it in a way that is much different than I recalled. So, okay, cool. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I fucking love this movie. It still holds up for me. Like, it's so beautifully shot. Like, the world, the atmosphere, like, the acting is good. Like, it kind of, and again, like, men in suits walking around city, I think is always going to be timeless. And so it just kind of gives everything that I want in like a for being like a cop, like whodunit thing. The amount of gore, how disturbing like all of the stuff is. This is a 5 out of 5 knives for me.
Hell yeah. Oh, I don't know what I want to do.
I'll jump in and see if I talk my way to an answer. Like I said, I think a second viewing, better prepared for the film that I actually receive would set me up more successfully to know what I thought of it. But I did think it was interesting. I thought the Saw parallels were super interesting. The 9 Inch Nails in the beginning, that also felt very Saw to me. I don't remember if that actually has any sort of pull there. But the vibes were right for that. I really enjoyed watching Somerset and his movement through the story and him trying to uncover things and being a smart, insightful detective who knows how to work the system. Not to say that he isn't still willing to work outside of it and do things that are a little illegal, but he knows that he can't use it in court. At least he's like, we can just use this to guide us, and then we still, whatever we want to use, we still need to acquire legally. So I think that he is an interesting insight, at least, into his methodology here. Brad Pitt is giving a good performance. I can't fairly evaluate his character at this time. But I don't know. I think the John Doe appearance so far into the movie, I guess because it's a good name, that's enough to kind of carry it through without it feeling like, I think it's so tough. It's so tough when you're doing like a whodunit kind of thing and to not have it be someone who's there in some capacity from the beginning. It's hard to be like, you couldn't possibly have guessed because we're not telling you until now. But if they have him as this shadowy figure that you're kind of like glimpsing on the edge, to have him be the photographer and to have that be, like I said, it's I can't come at this 100% fairly, because when he's like, he was the photographer, I was like, and you guys are working together. You set that up to throw Somerset off. But it's a very interestingly like built script and movie. And I think the 7 deadly sins of it all is interesting. I think it is pretty I wanted like Manu here again to be like guiding me through the Dante
I
stuff.
know.
Right.
I was
I was
thinking
like, let me
the
just call it
exact
Manu.
same thing.
Let me get Manu out of Spooky Tuesday retirement, and she has to watch this movie in 5 minutes and be ready to go. But I don't know. I'm not sure what I think. I think it's good. This is a provisional rating because again, my experience was very much biased. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it like 4 knives out of 5s and leave it there.
Respectable.
I'll give it a 4.5. I don't have a good time when I watch this necessarily because I'm so upset. But I was less upset than the first time that I watched it. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's a great movie. It's just very disturbing and it's just very disturbing. But it's like amazing performances. It's a really, really, really good concept. It walked so well, it's running. It ran and then also Swa ran afterwards. Saw ran from this and then also Criminal Minds. I feel like this is like the blueprint for a lot of media that I really, 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 really like. I do think that Kevin Spacey was perfectly cast.
He makes a great
and
villain.
he does.
It's just
He
who he
does. It's
is.
natural to him. But yeah, I'm really glad we did this movie. I think it's really fun to look at this and see what it inspired. And yeah, it's just a great classic film, so I'll give it a 4.5. But now we're coming back to the present, to the very fresh, to the very new, and Sydney's going to tell us what's happening next.
We're coming back to the present, but we're also going back to Spooky Tuesday's humble beginnings.
Facts.
And we are doing Scream 7. It's the 7th installation of the Scream franchise. And there's some controversies around it. And I've seen some people have like vastly different opinions on like it being good, it not being good. And I'm ready to see it. I'm interested to see what happens.
Monica and I have,
I've seen it, and that's all I'll say. We will talk about it actually literally tomorrow because we're recording tomorrow. So we'll talk about
I'll
it
be
tomorrow.
curious to see what Sydney thinks.
Yeah, because I have not. I'm the only one that hasn't seen it apparently.
Well, lots of people haven't seen it, but
well,
and if you don't want to see it, you can just listen to Spooky Tuesday, and then you don't have to go to the movie. So
exactly, yeah, and we understand everyone who is boycotting this movie. Very fair reasons to do so, but we wanted to give it the Spooky Tuesday try and see what we thought,
so.
and we will tell you tomorrow. But anyway, thank you so much for going on this deep, dark, disturbing journey with us. Why not say, oh, thanks, I'm going to think about the lust kill for the rest of my life, and that's your fault, Spooky Tuesday. 5 stars. And a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And to that I say, I'm so sorry. And direct your attention to Sydney. Because she chose this one. And then also you can just give us a 5-star rating on Spotify. That would be cute and lovely. And we don't even have to talk about the lust kill ever again. How about that? And also follow us on social media. We're at spooky_Tuesday on pretty much everything except for Facebook and Tumblr, where we're at Spooky Tuesday Pod. Check out our website, www.spookytuesdaypod.com. One-stop shop for everything Spooky Tuesday. You can see every movie we've ever covered. We're getting up to like 275 soon. We're getting close to those numbers. What happens when we hit 300? Anyway, also, you should check us out on Patreon. We are going to be doing our patron vote episode in just 2 weeks. It's already decided. Sorry, too late. But there's always next quarter. Get in there now and start campaigning for your movie, and you could get what you want in just 1 quarter from now. Patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday. And we're also on YouTube. And today I found my new outfit that I'm going to wear every day. I am inspired by Morgan Freeman, but I'm not Morgan Freeman because I don't have a mustache or adorable freckles. So that's me. What are you guys?
I'm Gwyneth
film
Paltrow.
noir.
I love it. Let's go at the same time. Let's wait and then we'll go at the same time.
We were both in the dramatic pause. We did our beat,
I thought you were gonna jump in, then you thought I was gonna jump in,
and we did.
and then I went, "Well, somebody's gotta go."
jump in.
So she's
Beautiful.
film
It
noir,
looked great.
and I'm
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Great job. I can feel that energy.
He's the shadowy
feel it.
figure in the background.
Exactly. Stalking you
perfect.
too, actually.
Oh no.
Which
please.
tracks?
Uh-oh. Should we kiss again,
You
Monica?
can't catch
I love when
me.
we kiss.
You can't catch me because I am in a trench coat, and so I get trench coat immunity. I don't know if you know about that, so something to consider.
That's why things go wrong at the end in the desert. He's taking off
Because
his
he took
trench
off his
coat.
trench coat. Something to think about. Keep that in mind. Anyway, that's it. Follow us on YouTube. You can see it. It'll be beautiful. Thank you so much for listening. We love you so much, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye, spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.